Welcome back. So in the previous video, we have done question number 5 to question number 1 to question number 5 from the back exercise of NCERT from the very first chapter of 11th class, that is some basic concepts of chemistry. So now in this very video, I will be taking up question number 6 to question number 10. So let us move into it, and let me just share my screen with you. So we are here. All right. So let us start with it. Okay, so question number 6 is calculate the concentration of nitric acid. We need to calculate the concentration of nitric acid. So the formula for nitric acid is HNO3. And we need to find out the concentration in moles per liter. Now, which quantity has these units, moles per liter? You must be knowing it. Okay, it is molarity. You need to find out the molarity. Okay, in a sample which has a density of the sample, or we can say solution. Sample will be the solution only, solution of HNO3. So density of sample is given to be equal to 1.41 gram per ml. Now, and the mass percent of nitric acid, mass percent of HNO3, it is given to be equal to 69%. Mass percentage of HNO3 has been given to be equal to 69%. All right. Now we need to find out the molarity. So this is the information that has been given to us, and this is what we need to find it out. Now, when you are doing any numerical, you need to first write down the formula for the quantity that you need to find out. Okay, because now here we need to find out the molarity. So molarity is equal to, the formula for molarity is number of moles of solute upon volume of solution in ml multiplied by 1000. So if we are considering volume in ml, then we multiply it by 1000. Now, you need to find out, you need to put here the number of moles of the solute. The solute is HNO3. Number of moles has not been given. Okay. Now what has been given is, the solution is 69%. 69% by mass, because we have been given mass percentage. So this means if we have 100 gram of solution, out of 100, 69 gram is HNO3. So the given mass of HNO3 is equal to 69 gram. All right, we will be considering total amount 100 gram. So out of 100, 69 has been given, that this is the mass of HNO3. Now you need to find out the number of moles of HNO3. So number of moles of anything, it is given mass upon the molar mass. So given mass is 69. Now you know the formula HNO3 and you know how to calculate the molar mass. You need to find it out yourself. I'm just directly putting the value here because I know what is the molar mass. It is 63. So now this will come out to be equal to, let us calculate it quickly. 69 divided by 63 equal to 1.09. So this is the number of moles of HNO3. So this value we have obtained. Now we need the volume of solution. We have not been given the volume of solution. What we have been given? We have been given the density of solution, and we have the mass of the solution, because we have said that because this is the mass percentage of HNO3 and total will be 100 gram. So total mass of the solution will be considered to be equal to 100 gram. So mass of solution is equal to 100 gram. Density is equal to, it is equal to 1.41 gram per ml. Okay, now from this, can you calculate the volume of the solution? Because density is equal to mass upon volume. So volume will be equal to mass upon density. So volume of solution will be equal to mass of solution upon density of solution. Density of solution. So mass is 100. Density is 1.41. So this is going to be equal to 100 divided by 1.41. Telling you again, if you are not allowed to use your calculators in the exam, do not use it. Okay. So the volume of solution will be 70.92 ml. Okay. You just need to now put the values here in this formula and you will get the value for molarity. So number of moles is 1.09. Volume of solution is 70.92 ml. Now, because it is in ml, we need to multiply it by 1000. So it is equal to 1.09 multiplied by 1000 divided by 70.92, 15.36. So 15.36 molar solution is there. That is the molarity of the given solution is 15.36. Simple as that. Now let us move into the next question. Clearing my screen off. All right. Okay. Now the next question is question number 7. How much copper can be obtained from? How much copper can be obtained from 100 gram of copper sulfate? So now this is very simple. You may feel that how can we know that 100 gram of copper sulfate will give how much of copper? You just need to find out how much copper can be obtained from the total molar mass of this very compound, that is copper sulfate. So the molar mass of copper sulfate is equal to, now for copper, the atomic mass is 63.5, okay, plus sulfur, it is 32 plus 4 into 16. So you just need to find it out. It is very important to, know the atomic masses. Sometimes you are given in the question, but mostly it will not be given. So you need to know what are the atomic masses of the various compounds. It comes out to be equal to 159.5. So the molar mass of copper sulfate is 159.5. Okay. So now in this 159.5, how much copper is there? 63.5. So this means from 159.5, we can obtain 63.5 gram of copper. This means out of 100 gram, how much we can obtain? We can calculate. Simple as that. So amount of copper obtainable from 159.5 gram of copper sulfate is equal to how much? 63.5 gram. Therefore, amount of copper obtainable from 100 gram of copper sulfate is equal to 63.5 upon 159.5 multiplied by 100. I think I have done it right. Okay. If there is some kind of problem, just check it out. 159. So sorry, it is 159.5. Okay. So it is 39.81 gram. Simple. Okay. So this is the amount of copper that can be obtained from 100 gram of copper sulfate. Hope this is clear to you. Now next, let us move into the 8th question of that very chapter. I'm just again clearing my screen off so that I can write the next question for you. Okay. Okay. So question number 8. Determine the molecular formula of an oxide of iron in which the mass percentage of iron is 69.9, percentage of iron is 69.9%, percentage of oxygen is 30.1%. I think this question we have already done. This is the question number 3. The question number 3 is also similar. Just let us see if there is some kind of difference. So in that very question, we needed to find out the empirical formula that we have already determined. Here we need to find out the molecular formula. Molecular formula. So you have been given only this much information and you need to find out the molecular formula. From this much information, we will not be able to find out the molecular formula. This statement is incomplete. Statement is incomplete. Okay, at least if we had molecular formula mass, we would be able to find out the molecular formula. But with this much information, it is not possible because we need to have the value of n here, and n is equal to molecular formula mass upon empirical formula mass. This is required. So this statement is incomplete, okay? And the molecular formula is equal to n into empirical formula. So we need the molecular formula, only then we will be able to, because empirical formula mass, we can find out after determining the empirical formula. But if molecular formula mass is not given, we will not be able to find out the value of n. To get the molecular formula, we need the value of n. So this statement is incomplete. All right. So if you need to find out how to find out the empirical formula, watch the previous video where I have discussed the question number 1 to question number 5. All right. So next is question number 9. So the question number 9 here is we need to find out the it is the 8th question. I was reading it again. So sorry. So we need to calculate the atomic mass. Calculate atomic mass. That is the average atomic mass. Average atomic mass of chlorine. Average atomic mass of chlorine using the following data. Using the following data, we have to find out the average atomic mass of chlorine. So the average atomic mass of chlorine has to be determined. We have been given 2 isotopes of chlorine and their natural abundance, the percentage natural abundance. Percentage natural abundance, it is 75.77 for chlorine 35 and 24.23 for chlorine 37. Okay, and their molar mass. Molar mass has been given to be equal to 34.9689 for chlorine 35 and 36.9659 for chlorine 37. Okay, and we need to find out what is the average atomic mass. Now, molar mass, when it is given for an atom, it means it is the atomic mass. So we have been actually given the atomic mass of this and this. The exact values have been given, okay, and their percentage of availability, in what percentage they occur in nature, that has been given. And using this information, we need to find out the average atomic mass. So the average atomic mass will be equal to natural abundance of chlorine 35. Natural abundance of chlorine 35 multiplied by the molar mass of chlorine 35, that is 34.9689, plus natural abundance of chlorine 37 multiplied by the molar mass of chlorine 37, it is 36.9659 divided by 100. Okay, so just calculate this value and write in the comment section below what is the answer. All right, so it will come to be nearly 35.5. Nearly it will be 35.5. Okay, so just find it out and mention in the comment section below what value have you got. Okay, let us now move into the question number 10. So the question number 10 is it is again having 3 sections, And we have been given that we have 3 moles of ethane. We have 3 moles of ethane. The first part is we need to tell what is the number of moles of carbon atoms in 3 moles of ethane. We have 3 moles of ethane. We need to tell what will be the total number of moles of carbon atoms in ethane. So for that, first of all, we need to know what is the formula for ethane. It is CH3CH3, or I can write it as C2H6. Both ways are right. Okay. Now, if I say 1 mole of ethane is there, 1 mole of ethane. So what is the number of moles of carbon in 1 mole of ethane? 2 moles. Okay. So in 1 mole of ethane, 1 mole of ethane contains number of moles of carbon equal to 2. Therefore, 3 moles of ethane contains number of moles of carbon equal to 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to 6 moles. So if we have 3 moles of ethane, in that there will be 6 moles of carbon. Then the second part of this question is, second part is number of moles of hydrogen atoms. Number of moles of hydrogen atoms. Again, you just need to see the molecular formula of ethane, and you need to find out what is the number of moles of hydrogen atoms in 1 mole of ethane, and you will be able to find it out for 3 moles. So number of moles of H atoms in 1 mole of ethane is equal to 6. We have 6 moles. So therefore, number of moles of H atoms in 3 mole of ethane equal to 6 multiplied by 3, 18 moles. Simple as that. Okay. The next is the third part. Number of molecules of ethane. We need to find out what will be the number of molecules of ethane in 3 moles of ethane. Okay. Now anything, when we are talking about the number of molecules, anything which is, suppose we have 1 mole of hydrogen, we have 1 mole of water, we have 1 mole of carbon dioxide, the number of molecules of carbon dioxide in 1 mole of carbon dioxide will be equal to Avogadro's number. Okay. So anything which has been given 1 mole and we need to tell what is the number of atoms or what is the number of, if the substance is atomic, then we will be saying what is the number of atoms. If it is molecular, what is the number of molecules in that particular substance. When we have 1 mole of it, it is equal to Avogadro's number. Now, in 1 mole of ethane, number of molecules, it is equal to Avogadro's number, that is 0.622 into 10 raised to the power 23. Therefore, in 3 moles of ethane, number of molecules will be equal to 6.022 multiplied by 10 raised to the power 23 multiplied by 3, and you can find it out. So it is 3 multiplied by 6.022, 18.066 into 10 raised to the power 23. Now, if we need to convert it into scientific notation, it will be 1.80. Okay, you can take 7 here. 10 raised to the power 24. All right. So now in this very video, we have covered question number 6 to question number 10. So in the previous video, we had covered question number 1 to question number 5 of the first chapter of 11th class NCERT. And here we have covered question number 6 to question number 10 of the first chapter of NCERT of 11th class, that is some basic concepts of chemistry. So in the next video, we will be taking up the next 5 questions, and do come back to understand the next 5 questions, and I highly recommend you to take lots of notes. Okay, your written practice is going to bring the real magic. All right, so see you in the next video.